Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Tales with Miss B. I hope you guys enjoyed the last one. Please do like, subscribe, and share to your loved one. Stay tuned and enjoy. In the great kingdom of Umueze, there lived a handsome prince named Ikena. His father, King Ezenis, was a powerful ruler who had spent years searching for a perfect bride for his son, Prince Ikena. But the prince has refused all the princesses brought before him, for they all had reason for wanting to marry him. Some either came for the money or the fame that comes with being a royal, or some were even rude and sports, had no manners or home training at all. This made the king sad, and he asked his son, "What do you really want?" "Father, I don't want a bride chosen for me because of my title. I want a woman who would love me for who I am, not because I'm a prince." The king frowned. "And how do you expect to find such a woman?" "I would find her myself," Ikena replied confidently. The king laughed. "And how would you do that, son?" "It's simple, father. I would disguise myself as a poor beggar and hope a woman with a good heart would show me some kindness." "What?" The king hailed. "Son, do you know what you are saying? My own son, a beggar, the heir to my throne. No, son, you can't do that. What would the people say?" The prince replied, "Please, father, please, this is the only way. And moreover, the people would not even recognize me. Please, father." And so the king said, "Okay, son, but I warn you, it would be just for 2 months. And if you do not find a maiden, you must marry one of the princesses." "Thank you so much, father. 2 months it is. I shall begin my search tomorrow, father." "Tomorrow, son?" "Yes, father. Who knows? My bride might already be waiting for me." "Son, there is no good woman out there who would fall in love with a common beggar." "Father, you would just be surprised at what Mother Earth has given birth to." And so the next morning, Ikena dressed in a tattered clothes, full with dust on his skin, and he carried an old wooden staff. He told his best friend Obiora about his plan. "You are a prince. What if something happens to you?" Obiora asked concerned. "I must take the risk, my friend. I need a wife who truly cares for me and not for my crown." So, with nothing but a small bag, the prince left the palace to a neighboring village named Amefi, a village that was also ruled by his father, the king. As soon as Ikena entered Amefi, he realized how hard life is for the poor. People ignored him, some looked at him with disgust, and some even chased him away from their homes. One day, hungry and tired, he sat near the village square, hoping someone would offer him food. A woman selling oranges, Mama Nina, saw him and shook her head. "Oge Megi, this life is hard, my son. But here, take this." She handed him some oranges. "Thank you, Mama," Ikena said, bowing. Later that evening, he walked to a small stream where he saw a young woman struggling with a heavy pot of water. The girl turned and frowned. "Who are you?" "A traveler in need of work," he replied. She hesitated but allowed him to help her with the pot of water. And when they reached her compound, she introduced herself. "My name is Adana. I live here with my stepmother and my stepsisters." Ikena noticed that Adana's hands were rough, her dress were worn out, but her eyes were kind. "Thank you for helping me," she said. "Do you have any work for me?" "I am willing to do anything," Ikena asked. "We don't have much, but if you can fetch firewood and help with the house chores, you can eat with us and also have a roof over your head." And that's how Ikena began living with Adana's family. Adana's stepmother, Mama Ego, was a harsh woman. She treated Adana like a servant while spoiling her own daughters, Uju, and Oluchi. One evening, as Ikena swept the compound, Uju was walking around and admiring her beauty, and Ikena greeted her. Good evening, Uju. Uju yelled at him, how dare you call me by my name? See this beggar. You must have dreamt of marrying a rich woman, Abi? Because that can only happen in your dreams, she mocked. And so Oluchi joined in. Adana is the only one foolish enough to talk to you. What do I expect? Birds of the same feather. Both Oluchi and Uju laughed so loud. While Ikena continued his chores, Adana at the corner preparing the meal for the evening ignored them and gave Ikena a plate of food. Don't mind them, she whispered. As days passed, Ikena noticed something. Adana was different from other women. She was hardworking and never looked down on anyone. Watched as she shared the little she has with others and how she endured the cruelty of her stepmother and stepsisters. One night he asked her, why do you let them treat you like this? She sighed, my father is dead. If I leave, where would I go? This is the only home I know. Ikena was touched. This was the kind of woman he was looking for. One day, Mama Ego announced that Prince Ikena was searching for a bride and that there will be a grand feast in the palace. Every beautiful girl in the kingdom must go, Mama Ego declared. Adana's stepsisters were excited. They spent days preparing their dresses and braiding their hair. Mama Ego turned to Ada. You would stay home and do the house chores. The prince can never look at a low life, she sneered. And you, Ikena, you would follow my daughters to the palace, making sure everything goes well. Adana and Ikena didn't say a word. But Prince Ikena had a plan. Adana, you would come with me to the feast, Ikena asked her secretly. She laughed. Ikena, you heard Mama Ego. I am just a poor girl. No man, talk more of the prince, will look at me. Trust me, Ikena said. Just come. Someone would bring you some wrappers when everybody must have left to the palace. Put them on and ask no questions. Adana nodded in agreement. And so, the next day, Mama Ego's daughters got up so early, preparing for the feast at the palace. They wore the finest beads, dressed so fine. As they were about to leave, Ikena spoke. Mama, won't you join us to the palace? Mama Ego said, no, it's my daughter's day. Let them enjoy. It's their time. Ikena said again, at least you should be there to watch your daughters perform, and maybe the gods might just smile on your family. Mama Ego shouted, Ta, shut up. You would be there and see one of my daughters become the princess of this great kingdom. But wait, oh, you are right. I need to watch my daughters perform for the prince. And so, Mama Ego put on her finest wrapper and set for the palace with her daughters, leaving a huge home chores for Adana to do before they come back. When they arrived at the palace, it was filled with beautiful people with dazzling clothes. Mama Ego and her daughters were out of place. Few minutes later, a maiden brought the most beautiful wrappers Adana had never seen in her life. Please put them on. Let me dress you. The royal guards are outside waiting. Adana stammered. Royal guards? Why? And what's going on? You would find out when you get to the palace, responded the maid. And so Adana dressed up and was looking so beautiful. She was like a goddess. And in no time they arrived at the palace, and Adana was dazzled at how amazing the palace looked. She was walked to a well-decorated room and was asked to wait. Back at the palace feast, the king stood up. My son will now reveal his bride. Ikena stepped forward, removing his ragged clothes, and stood in his royal garments. Gasps filled the room. Mama Ego and her daughters were speechless. I am Prince Ikena, he said, looking at Mama Ego and her daughters. And I have found my bride. Please bring her, he said, whispering to one of the maidens. And so Adana was brought out looking like a goddess. She was surprised and was shocked to see Ikena in a royal garment. Ikena moved close to her and said, "You are beautiful, my wife. Don't worry, I would explain. As for now, let's enjoy the moment." Tears filled Adana's eyes, and all that came out of her mouth was, You, you, you are the prince? Yes, and I chose you because you are kind, strong, and full of love. And so the prince explained his journey in search of true love to the crowd and Adana. The hall erupted in murmurs. Mama Ego fell to her knees, begging, "Your Highness, please forgive me. I don't know. I don't know. Please forgive me." He cannot turn to her. The true worth of a person is in their heart, not in their clothes or wealth. You don't need to know people before you show them love. You never even treated Adana well, but yet she stayed with you, loved you, and did all she can for you and your daughters. But how did you repay her? Now she would live in the palace as my princess and the future queen of this great kingdom. Adana was overwhelmed. She never even imagined that the beggar she helped was the prince himself. Few months later, Prince Ikena got married to Adana, not because of beauty or wealth, but because of her heart. And so the poor girl became a queen, and the prince, who disguised himself as a beggar, found the love he has been looking for.
So, guys, this story teaches us that true love is based on character, not status. Kindness and humility are always rewarded. We should treat everyone with respect, regardless of their appearances. Pride and greed leads to downfall, and patience and resilience bring great reward. We should always be nice to one another, no matter the status of the person. I hope we were able to learn one or two from this story. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share. See you on our next chapter.